everyone, and welcome to Bronyville. This is Bronyville episode number 75. Woohoo!
My favorite number.
It is. Is it really, Peter?
Starting now.
Recorded on October 6th, 2012. I'm your host, Apple Cider. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, Sandy.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. This is the second podcast I've recorded today.
I know, you were hanging out with a whole bunch of Malaysians earlier.
Yep.
Doing the Malaysian Brony something?
Yes, MBS show.
Okay, cool. You'll be on that so people can check it out. Hey, we got Peter New with us.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Peter. Peter's like important. This is cool.
We hear he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Voices ponies and doesn't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that too, which is a very nice thing to be hearing. So.
Well, it's great.
But there's so much more to you too.
Yeah, there is. So obviously, yeah, Peter voices primarily Big Macintosh. I don't know if there's any other. I don't recall right offhand if there's any other side fandom characters that you're really known for.
Well, I've done the Rarity's father. I think a lot of people have a fondness for, even though he was only in the one episode. I did him, and I did Dr. Monitor. I guess they're calling him the doctor from the Daring Do episode where Rainbow Dash is reading a book.
Okay.
And a couple of others along the way. I was very fond of the valet, and I don't remember the names of episodes, I'm afraid, but the valet that Rarity piles all her bags on when she goes to Canterlot.
Mm-hmm.
He can't quite handle the weight.
just a few more bags, you'll be fine. Oh, okay, very cool. So great to have you on. And you will be on for the entirety of this episode. That's going to be great. And you feel completely free to chime in for the episode because we've got a lot to talk about. It is the summer. We are waiting for November to come around for more episodes to air. I do have a requirement from you, sir. This is a requirement for, unfortunately, any guests that we have on the show. The show cannot continue without two questions being asked, and this is going to be a little bit self-referential depending on how you'd like to answer them. So our first question has to be, what is your favorite character from Friendship is Magic?
I think that character... I'm going to answer this, I think, probably the way every other voice actor answers it, which is my own.
There you go.
Of course, Big Macintosh. And the thing is, for me, I actually really... I've really been fond of Big Macintosh right from the moment I got the audition pages, because I thought that idea that he was this wise old sage who barely ever said anything and could sum up his wisdom with a single word and a single simple word to boot, I thought was very funny and you know, so I was thrilled to book it.
Yeah, Applejack's just kind of just going crazy and talking. He's just like, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't have to go any further. That sounds about right.
Nope.
It was even more interesting the one time they decided to do the switch and gave you like a full 3 set of lines. Everybody was like, whoa, look at Matt go.
I love that. I thought that was such a clever piece of writing to have Applejack so mad that she only said the up and nope, and Big Mac so mad that he was willing to just tear a strip off them. I thought that was just fantastic writing, and I was, again, thrilled to get that strip.
Okay, super cool on that. That is awesome and good that you love the character that you talk about. Okay, so obviously you've been since this whole fandom and everything has blown up. You've been watching more episodes, or you've been paying more attention to them.
Yeah.
So we have to know of the ones that you've seen thus far, and we can help you with the names or whatever. But what is your most favorite episode?
Well, they're all good. I mean, this is the wonderful thing to discover about the show. A lot of the time you do a show like this, and you get the script and you build your picture of what you think it's going to look like, but then ultimately you don't really see the episodes. You don't ever get the chance, really. And the nice thing about this one is that partly because of the fandom, you sort of I found I was forced to take a look at it a little more closely than I normally would have. and then to discover that the episodes are all great. Like even the ones I'm not in, I've seen a few that I'm not even in, and they're still really enjoyable. And a lot of the time as an actor, you're kind of just looking for what you sounded like and how did I turn out? Was my work okay? And to be able to get lost in the show and just kind of go, oh, I'm actually just enjoying watching this is really great. But in terms of my favorite, I think there's a couple ways to answer the question, because on the one hand, again, it's what is my favorite in terms of what I got to do, or what is my favorite in terms of what was the most enjoyable to watch. I think ultimately, for me, I think Lesson Zero is a standout for me, because I love that. Again, I love the gag of Mac ending up with that's the one where he ends up with the smarty pants.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that is really fun and funny. And again, there wasn't any voice work in that for me. It was just my character going on. But in terms of what I got to do, I think it's that switch up with Applejack where she goes, yep, nope, and I tear a strip. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, Lesson Zero is a perfectly great episode, so that works. That works absolutely fine. It is on many person's top, so you are in good company there.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Peter. That's great. We're going to have you along for this whole thing, and we'll talk about, your experiences, your ways in acting, what you've done before, between, pulling the stuff of, some of the other actual, like, full acting roles you've done, RV and Dr. Parnassus coming to mind.
Oh yeah,
and and then talking about there's plenty of bronies out there that I think this show, or just are interested in general in acting, that we can kind of go over some of the basics. And we do have this chat room full of people that, as long as they bring some awesome questions, we can go ahead and answer them for them. So
and I'm watching that chat. So when you say that I talk a lot in real life, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and take care of that. So,
oh no, that's fine. I do talk a lot in real life. I don't take it personally.
That's what a voice actor is for. That's right. One of the things you do. Hey, I talk a whole bunch and I do silly voices.
That's right. I do silly voices too. Don't know if you know that.
Significant others learn to eye roll. They're just, oh boy, here another dumb voice. Really need to work on your German. I was like, all right. All right. Well, let's move this along. Sandy, we got sponsors.
Indeed we do. All right. We can talk about our fantastic sponsors over at We Love Fine. For fans by fans seems to be their latest tagline. It is pony shirts for everyone. And they've added some interesting, those posters that they've got at Walmart that everyone's been clamoring to find. Season 2 protagonists and the villain poster and all that. Apparently, they've made them into shirts now, like an all-over full design shirt.
100% full-on printed.
And you get the poster with the purchase. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
With the most effective villains of all, Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara, front and center, as they are.
Yeah, they've also come out with new versions of the hoodies. They've got a Pinky, a Dash, and Fluttershy hoodie that doesn't have the big eyes on the front. They actually look a lot better.
Yeah, I really like the Dash. Well, I would like the Dash.
Yeah, you would like the Dash one, would you?
But yeah, that is a lot better looking. It has a little cool zipper pull.
Yep.
And if you use our coupon code Bronyville10, you can get 10% off purchase. So wow, the Dash hoodie, they have one left in stock.
This fandom's a little popular, and we like to buy things. If I found anything over time, we have
money, and we like spending it on pony merch.
Indeed. All right, so, and who else we got, Sandy?
The Las Pegasus Unicon is a sponsor. We'll be working with them to get their event off the ground. AC will be doing some support for them, some paneling, some MC perhaps. I will unfortunately not be able to attend due to other rock solid commitments, but it's something cool coming up in Vegas in 2013. LasPegasusUnicon.com, and they have already let's see.
Yep.
John Delancey, they haven't added anybody else lately.
Yeah, but the Riviera Hotel and Casino, yeah, you can catch that at LasPegasasUnicon.com. And they've got all the information and registration information. So,
wow, 20,000 square foot of just like one. Huh.
it's a huge con.
Well, 20,000 square foot of like, is it just the party? That sounds crazy.
How many people can go to that con?
They're hoping to actually make it like a 4,000 person convention. Like they are aiming big.
Yeah, they're at the Riviera in Vegas, which apparently is fairly large.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a big place. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward on that. We've got news, Sandy. It's still the summer.
Yes, it's still the long ponyless summer. We might have an announcement. You know, there's only really 3 weeks in where they can release season 3, the 3rd, the 10th, or the 17th. So it's going to be one of those 3. Otherwise, the DVD that comes out on the 4th will have an episode before it's aired, and I don't think they want to do that. I don't know. Could be wrong.
I'll tell you that you're probably you have a pretty good shot at being right. Maybe.
Maybe.
Deep digs. We have gotten one of the 3 numbers right.
Maybe.
Someone do crazy math and figure it out.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny anything.
And we will not ask you to confirm nor deny, sir.
We've got the New York Comic Con announcement thing coming up here in a couple weeks, so
yeah, well,
we will find out then.
That is the belief. All right, so what do we have this week, Sandy?
You know, there really wasn't a lot of actual news, but there was a couple of cool things. The new toy sets have hit the store. The miniature sets, specifically the ones featuring Zakora and then Photo Finish and Hoity Toity. So I am still hunting those down, but they will join the army of miniature plastic horses that I have on my DVD shelf. That's like the one thing that I can be totally fine. It's like, yeah, they're just little miniatures. They sit on my desk. Totally cool with collecting. And I will pick them up. I got the Apple Family set when it came out with the Big Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, the Wedding and the Clydesdale sets. And for some reason, Zakora got stuck with Pinky. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's odd. Okay, what's good? And yeah, more of those coming that way. More pony music also on Rock Band.
Yeah. Let's see. More our good buddy Eurobeat Brony has got 2 more tracks on the Rock Band store. Is it? I guess it's the Rock Band store. Whatever. So 2 more there. Dosh and Living Tombstone with Good Girl, and Jeff Burgess has one called Trixie, which I don't think I've heard, but I do think that's really cool that we're finally getting some fandom music up there. I wonder how they're getting paid. I hope they're getting paid.
It is the Rock Band Network, so as far as I'm aware on that, people go in and they take the information and then they lay down the tracks. They kind of put it inside of there, and it's kind of just a fan collaborative thing to add music, so it's a way to do indie stuff in it. I'm not entirely sure. As you pay someone to chart the song, so yeah, whoever is, they pick it up and they pay $90 for the tools. That's what Sax M13 is saying in the chat.
So the more you know.
Yep. So that's cool. More pony stuff. They can play on Rock Band. It is cool. I need to get Rock Band again.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that the one of the third one is Luna Nightmare Mode at the end with the Cookie Monster vocals. Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't know what that means.
Oh
boy.
Celestia. You know, that kind of stuff.
I see. Cookie Monster voice. That's what we call it now?
It's called Cookie Monster Vocal.
Okay.
It's on the internet. Look it up.
Okay, all right. Hold on. I'll see if I can find this internet you're talking about. All right. So we got some actual news of stuff that was brought up about Pony. So what happened in Norway?
So Norway had a couple bronies on the show called Sint Med Simensund, which I'm probably mangling. And it's a couple of dudes on there talking about liking ponies, and they
Well, what'd you think, Peter? Since you
Well,
you obviously took a look at it.
I took a look at it. I thought it was kind of great. I thought they handled themselves pretty well. I thought one guy did most of the talking, and the other guy I thought might have been a little more embarrassed to be there. But I thought it was great that they got them. I mean, how awesome to have such a high profile report that didn't that seemed to accept them.
Yeah, it didn't make us out to be a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah,
Strange as we may be, they did conduct themselves pretty well, and they didn't really seem to play them off for laughs too much.
no, they were really well. And this is what's consistent to me in my experience of the fandom is they were really earnest, and they comported themselves very well because of that.
Yeah, I think as long as it's like the entire idea of, hey, this is an odd show to like, but the at least on the surface, people just go that. I think there's a lot of I enjoy My Little Pony, and their thoughts immediately go to Toy Line and the old cartoon, and they go, huh?
Yeah,
And it's just kind of like one of the things of, the more you go like, no, it's okay. Like, the more you kind of freak out about it, and the more you can be kind of like, no, it's actually a good show. It's, it's got a fan following of a lot of people, and, it's got conventions now that sell out to the bajillions and things like that. People go, oh, then it must be actually sane.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it sounded like it was good. I did not see that bit. I did see a little bit of the other thing, Sandy.
Yeah, the Bronies on Springer,
Oh
which
no.
this was a terrible idea. Why would he do this? Tara told you not to, guys.
I saw
Then
that
again-
Tara told you not to.
I don't think these people were actual fans of the show.
Though we did get reports that they actually were, but
Well,
it's
I'll tell you something I happen to know about Springer because I had a friend that was on Springer at one time. It's pretend. The
It
whole
is.
thing's pretend.
it's
Oh,
kind of
of
like
course.
wrestling.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
still real to me, man.
Hulkamania,
it's-
baby.
Yeah. So I think, they may have been fans, but they also may have been people who wanted a spotlight but more than they were fans. I don't know.
Yeah. It just seemed really silly, and I do think though that this community handled ponies on Springer better than some other communities might have their thing put up there on Springer. So most people just kind of went, this
Yeah.
is
Well,
silly.
it wasn't as insane and damning as it could have been. Like that's the thing.
There was no chair throwing, no Solar Empire versus New Lunar Republic fist fighting and wig pulling or anything like that.
That's good.
So it was just one of those really silly things that, yeah, eventually with the community getting as widespread as it is, it's somewhat inevitable that there will be, bronies on Springer, and eventually, if we'll know we make it once somebody makes it on Ellen.
Yeah, that's right.
So
There you go. I'll go on Ellen.
All right,
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to happen. Everybody, let's start the campaign, the email campaign to get Peter on Ellen. We'll do this right now. Somebody pull up Ellen's email address, ellendegeneres@yahoo.com. I'm sure that's it.
That's right. She's done voice acting. I've done voice acting. We're going to get along like a house on fire.
Yeah. Ow. So yeah, that's I thought it was interesting also that the only part that I found kind of odd and kind of like, well, this is kind of what had to happen is the immediate like, hey, Jerry Springer's looking for people to come on a show, and they started posting all the Twitter images of do not go on Jerry Springer. I was like, well, yeah, we kind of do that. So, but yeah, that was just self-preservation there. So, yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and it's Springer. It's silly. So, yep. All right, Sandy, you've also got something to announce, it looks like.
yes, so this kind of came up last night on, so that is to say October 5th, the weekly convention compilation on Equestria Daily posted up something about a convention in Denver called Nightmare Night, which I immediately like tripped out because wait a minute, that's my plan. That's my name. Not really my name, but you know what I mean. So I've been working on this for about a month at this point. I am working on having a convention, a large scale, Hasbro sanctioned, voice actors invited convention in Addison, which is a suburb of Dallas, Texas, in November of 2013. We're obviously in the planning stages, given that it's now 13 months to the day almost away. And we are we're in talks with the hotel. We have a Twitter account. It's Nightmare Nights. NightmareNightsDallas@gmail.com is our email address if you would like to possibly be on staff. If you're local, regional. And I'm just sort of putting it out there that there is a plan in place. A hotel has been talked to. Funds are being secured. And stuff like that. Because I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, in this case, and try to do the convention the way I know how.
Because you've done conventions before, you know how to do them. You've managed very large conventions. This might be a larger, or a very large one.
But it's in a space I know, in a hotel I know, with crossover of some staffers that I know and trust. And, some very motivated individuals on my side. So, there will be a announcement forthcoming, a press release, a website. I've already bought the URLs. I did that like day one. So
SandyCon 2013.
It's not going to be SandyCon.
It's SandyCon.
Not even going to be Bronyville Con. I would prefer that you come out, AC. But
but I have to go to Texas.
Yes, you do. But Addison,
I would
Texas
love
is
to go
great.
to every state in the USA. I would go.
Addison, Texas
That's
is
cool now.
fantastic. The hotel has a nice bar. There's a lot of really good bars nearby in Addison, Texas.
Texas has bars. Doesn't sound so bad after all.
It's in a really nice area of Dallas.
Well, Peter, I'll go if you go. Of course, there's some other, stuff set to that, but I don't know. I might be convinced.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
Sandy,
you'll go if I go.
Yeah, Sandy, have your people call my people, and we'll set something up.
Yeah,
I am working on it. Their communication has been had, but you know how things can be glacially slow on occasion.
Yeah.
Some people in the chat are saying how much Scandinavia needs a con and all that, and I just want to say to the Scandinavians out there in the chat that I've always wanted to go to Scandinavia. I'm just going to drop that one out there.
Yeah.
Always wanted to go to Scandinavia.
Want to go to Scandinavia next convention. Oh, Finland needs a convention. Oh, I always wanted to go there.
Well,
get one in Scotland.
Yes. Be awesome.
Scotland.
All right.
So,
good job for SandyCon. All right. Or not
It's a
SandyCon. Nightmare Nights Dallas. So, all right, cool. We'll watch as you progress that over the next coming, months.
Yep.
And you get all that settled, and you're planning pretty big. It sounds like you're wanting to go up there and be one of the big ones.
There is a need for a large scale convention for the Mid-South region. I did see though that there is another convention up in the Atlanta region called Winter Moon. That was the only other area I could think of that was completely lacking in terms of a convention, and now somebody's filling that gap.
I think someone is, and Megan McCarthy's from Atlanta, I think, isn't she? So that would be cool. A little homecoming for her.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be homecoming for me too. That'd be fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And just be like, hey.
Even though I've never been, I'm just going to say it's a homecoming.
If you consider everywhere a home, it's always a homecoming.
That's right. That's right.
It's good to be back for the first time.
It's good to be back for the first time. Every time the plane touches down, home again, home again.
Just my home is wherever my bags are.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, super cool on that. All right, it's time for books. It's fanfic suggestions. Peter doesn't have any because, well, it would be there's complications to that.
Yeah.
So I have my suggestions for this week. I have none, but we got a really good email from Martsragas, I believe Martsregras. that had a whole bunch of fics he suggested. So I put that inside of here. Hello, Starry Night AC, Chef Sandy, esteemed guests, and Bronies on the live stream. Greetings from an Irish Brony in London. Just wanted to send an email to say thanks for keeping this amazing podcast. Seems that there are very few Bronies in London, so it's good to have an outlet. I have, however, converted one person and plan to convert more. I'm new to the fandom, only been watching since the start of the summer and can't get enough. Thanks for the podcast, and I have very little time that is not bona fide between awesome fanfic, comics, PMVs, catching up on the backlog of podcasts. I have never been happier. And he suggests some fanfics, Past Sins, Sunny Skies All Day Long, It's a Dangerous Business Going Out Your Door,
That's a good one.
Solar Flare, comedy fic,
Orientation.
All right, that's interesting. And okay, yeah, and that's just a listing of fics there that he suggests. So that's in the Google Doc. You can always go see that over at bronyvillepodcast.com. Click on it and you can take a look at the doc and see all of the fics that are listed there. Sandy, what do you got this week?
All right, I got a promising new fic that got a Equestria Daily seal of approval. At least, well, it got freshly posted. So, Lost Legacies by Kiba White looks like a time travel adventure slice of life sort of story featuring the ghostly gray mare and the main six, and it's Derpy's life is falling apart, and it's up to the main six to help her get her stuff back together. So it's promising, and what I've read of it thus far.
Yep, over 53,000 words. It is incomplete at this time. It is looks like there's multiple episodes and then Amethyst's done afterwards. So after,
yeah, it's got a kind of a bit of weird format, but
okay.
You know,
54 ratings, and it's their adventure slice of life, Lost Legacies. You can find that on the link of the show notes. All right, very cool. All right, that's books. It's topic time. We got Peter here.
Hi.
Hey, Peter, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I've been okay, sitting around.
Enjoying the show so far?
Enjoying the show so far.
Awesome. Very good to have you. All right, so we've got you here, and of course, everybody really, really Black Griffin. Peter, who? We've got you here, and as said, great to have you. I guess we can start at the very beginning, just to for those out there that may not be as familiar with you, just get the baseline information. You know, how you got into being interested in acting, what you have done thus far, and maybe even into the, you know, a little bit of your reactions to, you know, kind of the community and stuff as a whole, just the baseline stuff.
Okay, well, that's a really broad base.
Well, let's start this baseline. Yeah, the very beginning.
The very beginning.
Yep.
Well, I'm tempted to. Yeah, I'll skip that. Well, my name is Peter New, and I play a character named Big Macintosh on the show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, which you may have heard of. I got into acting about 20. Well, I guess in grade 9, so mid 80s for me, and did some touring around the world and things with a company called the Vancouver Youth Theatre, and then. When I turned around 20, I started a comedy troupe and thought I would get famous as a sketch comedian. And we did a lot of sort of basement and cabaret shows around Vancouver, getting paid in pitchers of beer. And when that finally didn't work, which became clear after about 5 years, I got an agent and put together a voice demo and began working immediately on camera stuff. And about 10 years later, the, you know, occasional voice work started to turn into the real kind of thrust of my career. So there is your baseline. Okay,
awesome. And then, you know, you've as I mentioned before, some of the bigger stuff, you did have a slight role in both RV and the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
I auditioned for RV, but I didn't get a role in it, as I recall.
Oh, I may be mixing up on there, but you were in the Imaginarium.
I was in Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. I played a paramedic. Right at the the sort of the point where the imaginary world is all falling apart, and Dr. Parnassus collapses, and his daughter thinks I have a stutter and I can't get through the phrase "dead drunk."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do in the movie. But I was so thrilled to be in it because I'm a huge fan of Terry Gilliam, and so to get to go and work with Gilliam was a dream come true for me.
Yeah, it was very cool. It's just seeing it inside of there, I was like, oh well, what else has Peter done? And I caught that clip, and I was like, oh, he was that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got that, and of course you've been doing voice acting and getting in tons of TV roles, anime roles. Inuyasha. You did some work in Powerpuff Girls Z.
Yeah.
Video games.
All the orcs and Dawn of War.
Dawn of War, Gundam 00, and a giant list that for some reason doesn't get it doesn't get up on to IMDb. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, it's like you've done a bunch of like horror films. It looks like,
Yeah, well, Vancouver kind of gets a lot of these horror movies and science fiction series, and so it sort of skews your resume as though that's what you're choosing, and then the children's thing like Scooby-Doo 2 and Agent Cody Banks. I was in both of those. But then I got to be in Kingdom Hospital and Black Christmas and all these sort of things like that, and then of course we get to do shows like Fringe and I'm so I got to be
which I like.
I know I loved being. That was a great set to be on too. I was really happy to get to do that show.
I'm looking at one of them. There's one movie that I think's in my queue right now, just because of how silly it was. But Hamlet, but you didn't hear it from me.
Yes, that was a good time.
That sounded like a very, very silly. It's almost. I'm trying to remember what that other Hamlet like weird crossover play that was.
There was a McHomer, which was that makes me think of, which was Homer Simpson as Macbeth.
Mm-hmm.
I think I never saw, but I don't remember any other Hamlet one. But it was fun. It was a guy from New York that named John Knauer who came over here. There's another voice actor who kind of funded it named oh gosh, it was in my head when I started the sentence. Jim Conrad funded it, and they came here from New York and got a Vancouver cast and Vancouver crew together and shot this funny script that he'd written, and now it's up on YouTube somewhere. Hamlet, but you didn't hear it from me.
Mm-hmm.
And you link to it through my Facebook page has it on it as well.
Yeah, and you've just been all around, just as said, Fringe, Stargate,
Smallville,
yeah.
Big fan of Psych. That's a great show.
Yeah, Psych was fun, yeah.
That's such a silly show. All right, well that is cool.
Yeah, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern are dead. Someone said.
Oh yes, Rosencrantz. Oh, I love that show. Love that. That is such a weird, awesome movie. But yeah, so you've been around, you've been acting for a great long time. Well, I wouldn't say a great long time, but you have definitely put in the hours necessary to put yourself in IMDb and have yourself out there. And of course, we love you as the primarily as the voice of Big Macintosh on the show. Let's see. So to get just a little bit of a more show specific, you were brought in, and I'm sure that this question has probably been asked a dozen times of you thus far, but I haven't asked it yet, so it's important.
I'll answer it.
So what was your first indication that there was that about the community and that there was, this entire collection of people that were, into something for a voice actor in many ways, you do a lot of the stuff and then find out after the fact, oh, it went out, oh, it's live, this happened. But this is probably a case where you're like, oh, there's a lot of people paying attention to it now. So what was your first kind of inkling that happened?
I had a friend of mine was over for dinner, a voice actress named Anna Kummer. She plays Strawberry Shortcake, among many other things. And she was, I was talking to her about, successes and things in the business and just a sort of generalized actor conversation. And she sort of mentioned that My Little Pony was getting really big, and I sort of wasn't really aware of it. So later on that night, I Googled it, and the first thing that came back was this sort of horrifying R34 image.
Oh God!
no.
Oh
So
no!
my very first indication. And so when people started talking about the community after that, I was a little bit suspicious. But then I did more googling and more just more research into it, and I found out that it's the community seemed like this really promising, positive thinking place, and that sounded like it was something that was interesting to me because I like to think of myself as that. So I started pursuing conventions and things because I thought it would be interesting to get out and meet everybody, and it sure has been. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, to make up for it, I just gave you a link to a image that Tetrapony made of you as a combination Peter New Macintosh. So you can now officially erase that first image you said. Put this one in its place.
Oh, believe me, I've erased it.
Oh man, internet! I'm waving my finger at you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
well, the internet. There's.
That's what Rule 34. That's what Rule 34 is.
For every good thing, there's something equal and opposite. So.
All right. Oh boy, Rule 34. You crazy thing. All right. Yeah. So there is and it's great to meet you. You were an awesome during the time that we met you over at Everfree Northwest. However short it was.
Yeah, I came knocking on your door one night, but you guys were out.
Yeah, probably out, busy, tired. Oof.
Maybe asleep. Yes,
maybe that too.
It was late.
Yeah, could be. Let's see. So there are a lot of people that are doing getting into acting, interested in acting, and doing their own voice work within the community, being it doing their own characters or trying to mimic the show character staff.
Yeah, which I think is great. I think that's fantastic.
Let's see. Hold on. I need to pop that in picture there we go. For the chat so they could see Tetra's image of the new Peter New image. But what suggestions would you have, especially for somebody that's like, listen, I'm really interested in this. Maybe I'm doing my own little my own little side projects or working on these things within the community. But I'm thinking about this might be something that I want to commit full time or actually find out, what I need to do to actually push this and make it a career as you have.
Well, I think doing the kinds of things that you're doing in the community already, and getting onto mimicking the characters, or even doing different versions. I've seen some things where people are doing different versions of the characters, or all male cast with they're just gender reversing everything, and which is cool. And I think that kind of thing is great, and it's a great starting place. But what you need to do is then take that skill that you're developing and then reapply it to other situations, and really take it away from Pony and just put it into other cartoons and start watching and mimicking other cartoons, or watching and mimicking public figures, like politicians or any sort of big public figure, or just generating your own characters. But the important thing is to get a group of people that you can do that with. See if you can get together with people that you make laugh and that make you laugh, and most specifically make you laugh in the silly voices. And once you're sort of doing that and into the habit of sort of generating these new characters for yourself, then you can start to gauge whether or not you might be ready to put together a demo. But that's a great place to start, because it teaches you not only how to get at characters very quickly, but it also teaches you how to entertain, which of course is awesome. You need to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And do you find, as I said, you do work not in actual physical acting as well as voice acting, and they're kind of two different things, because with physical, if you're actually using your full body, you're having to portray emotions one way with that. With your voice, you're having to portray all your emotions simply in your voice.
What's interesting though is, for me, voice, it's all the same thing for me. It's all acting. And that's the thing about voice acting that a lot of people misunderstand, is they think it's mostly about voice and not about acting. But really what you need to be able to do is break a scene down and figure out what your character wants and how you're going to get at it the same way as you would with you doing something on set or on stage. So it's really kind of the same job. But what's interesting is that when I'm voice acting, I'm far more physical than I am with my on set acting, because everything is very contained and in the eyes on set. So you want to take every physical impulse and just kind of keep it small. But because in voice acting they don't see you, you actually sort of end up taking all of these physical impulses and making them large, because it influences the way the voice sounds. And if you're doing something very physical, if the animated character is doing something very physical, a lot of the time you want to do something really physical to really give the sense of motion to the voice. So I end up jumping around a lot more in the studio than I ever do on sets.
Mm-hmm. You're actually having to like contort your muscles to be like, all right, in this scene I've got to strain. So you're actually like having to push against arms or stretch in a way so that you can actually get a proper sound for straining.
That's right. I did a guest character on a show I'm not yet allowed to discuss, but I did this guest character where I figured out that the way that the voice worked for me was that if I was kind of in this half squat the whole time I did it, and so I actually I had and I was playing my regular character that week too, so I had to have the engineer put the mic at a sort of mid level, but then I ended up kind of half squatting for my own character, and then having to talk up to the mic for the other character. And I was really sore the next day. I got home, I was walking around the next day going, what is going on? Why are my legs killing me today? This is the strangest thing. And then I realized, oh, yes, it's 4 hours of squatting.
Pretty much. Up, down, up, down.
Up, down, up, down.
The benefit of it is that you're going to lose 4 pounds by the end of the week just doing that gig.
I think so. Yeah.
Actually, Zizik has a question here. How late in life could you get in without previous experience voice acting wise? What's your belief?
I think they're always looking for a fresh voice. So I don't think it's ever too late to get in. And even in regular acting, I don't think it's too late to get in. You just have to be prepared for, on camera, the older you get, the fewer parts are generally available, but they still need to have, older characters from time to time doing whatever, so it's never too late, I don't think, to get started. And you never know. Guys like Alan Rickman didn't get his first film role till he was in his 40s. So, and now he's huge. So it's never really too late. But the thing too, someone says voice acting is still really hard to get into because the industry already has the voices they need and they're all already networked, which is true to a point. But I also think, like I said, they are always looking for new voices, and it does take, like for me, it really took about a decade before I felt like I was really connected enough to kind of rely on it. Mm-hmm. And even then, you can never rely on it, because once one job is over, there's never any guarantee that the next one is going to start right away. You can go, months and months without work, and then suddenly have everything.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah, I've noticed over here, and it is a good deal. I've taken a few classes over at a studio over here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and just as much as it is about acting, it is about networking and getting contacts and making a reputation for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, and Norman Sanzo has something kind of kind of along those lines. Would taking acting lessons be a good start?
Yeah, it would. I'm a believer that the best experience is experience. The best lesson is experience. That classes train you for classes, and work trains you for work. But as a starting point, I think if you can find a really good class or a really good teacher who understands that there are things about acting that are purely technical, and that those things can be taught, then yeah, I think it's absolutely beneficial. And I think it's mostly beneficial if you're in a large enough class community. It's really beneficial to meet people who can, be your networking. Your network later.
I've been I have a particular little place I go to. Dogman15 says he's from the Bay and he wanted to find out some stuff. Terry McGovern, the guy who did Launchpad McQuack for a lot of the Disney shows, he actually works at the one that I go to, and that guy is just phenomenal. He's the funniest man one of the funniest men I've ever met, and he is a great instructor. I would highly recommend, checking out if there's somebody close to you that can kind of be a mentor to you that way. I've took it and I kind of applied what I learned there to just general, doing stuff on the radio here, or doing stuff on the podcast. But, it would be fun to do something in the future. If anything, just because I love being in front of the microphone and, just projecting myself out here. It was an amazing set of classes and also just amazingly hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is hard.
It is exhausting. After the third day, I was just like, geez.
Yeah. It's a lot more tiring than it seems like it would be on the surface. Because so much of what you do is play, right? That it seems like, it just would be a lark to do. And then you would go home and have all this energy. But I am the most tired. After a voiceover session, I am the most tired.
Because you've got to give it all on every take, and then give them something a little bit different. So you're always trying to mix it up. All right, I'll go high here this time, low here this time. Trying to give them something new on every push of that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things in the chat I'd like to address, if I may.
Sure, go for it.
Somebody says, Peter, a lot of Martzigra says, Peter, a lot of actors don't like watching films or shows they've worked on. Do you feel the same way? I take the view that watching myself is one of the most critical parts of my training. So sometimes I like it because sometimes I look at it and think, oh, I did well there. I did, I feel like what I'm doing is very much in keeping with the film at large or the show at large. And I'm right in the right pocket. But then sometimes I look at it and I hate it because I think I'm awful and I'm false and I'm all over the map and I can see that they've tried to edit around me as much as they can. And you need to be able to look at that stuff practically as opposed to emotionally. You need to be able to look at it and say, oh, okay, so what I did wrong was X and what I need to do is Y. You need to be able to do that. So sometimes I hate it, sometimes I like it, but that all depends on whether or not I think I'm doing good work. And then young Scott says that the only voice he can do is mimicking somebody. And I would say to anybody starting out, a common misconception, I think, is that you need to be able to do an arsenal of specific voices or specific mimics or things like that. And you really don't. So often you end up just using your own voice. And in fact, your own voice is the voice that you can do the best. And that a lot of the time is how you break in the first time. It's just by being in your own pocket. And again, something that Anna Kummer told me when I was trying to break in and she was, strawberry shortcake and out there working was that most of the time you end up not doing some very big character far away from your own voice. You end up doing just the color of your own voice. You just change an aspect of your own voice and you end up in a different character. Then you push on character elements, but it's really just your own kind of range, and you don't have to push it too hard.
Mm-hmm. Tim O brings up a great point. Lorenzo Music made an entire career out of that. Between Garfield and playing on the Real Ghostbusters, he was doing either his own voice or slight variations of his own voice, and was just you couldn't listen to a cartoon in the late 80s, early 90s that didn't have him on it. That was kind of a big thing with him of just, it was his voice and he sold it and he had the connections for it. So it's totally a legitimate way to do it. Yeah.
Featherprop asks, when you watch a show you've voice acted for, do you often get a feel that you should have voiced the character differently? And do you get to see animation of the characters beforehand most of the time, or do you have to sort of guess? I'll answer the second half first. When you're doing a prelay show, like Pony and whatnot, you normally don't get to see any animation beforehand. Sometimes you get to see a drawing of what they expect the character is going to look like, but they aren't animating it before they record it. They record it based on what your performance is. But there's stuff like Powerpuff Z and Gundam 00 and Inuyasha. That's all imported from somewhere else and has already been animated. And so you're actually voicing to the animation, which is harder because you're actually having to match the flap that the animator has already made. So your performance ends up kind of having to shoehorn itself into something that pre-exists, and that's a lot more difficult. But as for, do I feel that I should have voiced it differently when I see it? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And it sort of speaks to the same question I just answered about seeing yourself. It's the same thing. Sometimes I hear it and I think, oh, these are the mistakes that I was making. And sometimes I hear it and I think, I'm perfect. So I don't know.
Like, I nailed that one. Awesome.
I nailed that. I'm awesome.
It's great. Just so I know, and this is a little interesting question. When to bring it just momentarily back to ponies, when you were given the aspects for Macintosh, for instance, what were the aspects that they wanted to invoke with that character?
Well, they gave me a fairly long paragraph describing the character, but I tend to, the nature of that audition was one where I didn't really have the material for a long time before I had to do the audition. I really only had it for a few minutes. And so there wasn't a whole lot of time to really assimilate and try to plant where everything needed to live inside me and do all the sort of scene work that one might normally do with a lot of time. But so I was really sort of going on impulse, and the lines are sort of more important than the description for me in that particular scenario. I'd like to read the description enough to know that they want him to be fairly slow talking, but not too slow, because that makes the animation boring. And they want him to have this wisdom every now and then. And so you don't want him to sound like an idiot when he speaks, because he needs to be able to sustain this sense of intelligence with what he's saying. So I just kind of, and then you kind of have to narrow it down, because in your head, once you get in the room and in front of the microphone, and Lauren Faust is on the phone and Terry Klassen's behind the glass, and there's 5 other people in there and you don't know who they are or what they're doing, the pressure is on. There's 3 other actors waiting out in the lobby for the same audition right now. You just kind of go, and you need to find a thing you can focus on. So if I'm remembering right, the thing that I focused on was that I felt like everything he said was considered, right? That nothing he said was flip.
That he digested his words down into a tiny nugget that called yep.
Yep. And so
word.
Yeah, so I just sort of, you take that one word in with you, that one word, he's considered. And that helped me to just take my time with the audition, but not the part. You have to get through the words, but still sound like you're taking your time with them, so that they can animate somebody taking their time quickly.
Mm-hmm. The worst thing is to be too slow. Needs to be fast, needs to go, so it can be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see if I'm checking. Anybody in the chat have any other particular questions? We can bring those up. Or do you have some, Sandy? Go for it.
I'm holding up my hand.
Okay.
Hey,
all right. Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
Sandy in the front.
Yes. Oh, I get to talk. Biggest scare. No. What I was wanting to ask you about. I was also, you're a writer. You do shorts. You do. Doing a contest called Hot Shot Shorts. Obviously, you're a man of many talents. So, what sort of other writing gigs have you done? Is this like a sideline hobby for you, or is it something you're just?
Well, it unfortunately most of the time lives in a sideline hobby kind of realm. I have been paid for it, and I won awards for it, and whatnot. I was a writer on a national Canadian show in 2002 called Point Blank, which was executive produced and starred a Canadian comedy duo called Double Exposure, that even a lot of people in Canada have never heard of, let alone in the States. Unfortunately, but we ran on the Canadian Comedy Network and did 13 episodes, and I was a writer on all 13 and won an award for that. And then I wrote a lot of, short films for various contests and things that were around in town. And one of mine won the Hot Shot Shorts the first year. It won, and that's about a $50,000 in kind grant from various places to help you make your film. And so that got made, starring Peter DeLuise and Simone Bailey, and produced by some fairly high profile Canadian producers. And so it sort of it goes on. I keep doing it. I've written several features that
Yeah.
Some people have read and said these are great, but nobody seems to be interested in producing them. So we'll see what happens.
Like the 888.
Oh yeah, right.
It's also listed there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it?
The 888. It was a show that Michael Coleman and I came up with, another voice actor. Back in, I think we originated it in 2003, and we decided we were going to make 6 episodes of it because we thought we want to make a show that we can use as a calling card. And we ended up making the 6 episodes, but we made all 6 for next to nothing, and unfortunately, it kind of came out looking like that. So I watch it now and I think, oh yeah, this has got some funny moments, but unfortunately, it doesn't really translate.
Yeah,
it's all online. You're welcome to see it. Someone asked me my favorite restaurant in Vancouver. I will tell you 2 answers. Les Faux Bourgeois, which is my favorite French restaurant, and I think is better than a lot of better French restaurants that I've been to all over the world. And I'm really fond of Union as well, which is down at Georgia and Maine.
And how has the overall, it seems like I've been hearing more and more that Vancouver's got a really great acting scene up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're always dealing with various sort of political issues with regard to tax rebates and things for producers. So it kind of flips back and forth between here and Toronto, which is the best place to be for Canadian acting. But I always think that Vancouver's got such a great independent scene and such a supportive community that it's never not thriving. There's always something good here getting done, whether that's at the Hollywood level or whether it's at the really independent level, like stuff like the Hot Shots and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hope to one day go check out Vancouver. I was close enough when we did the trip to Seattle to go, this is a really nice looking area. And it's
a beautiful part of the world.
It seems fantastic. And you had the Olympics and everything over there recently. All that greatness. Let's see. Were there any, drawing again, Peter. Let's see. Favorite restaurant. Yeah, that got answered. Okay.
Some people are not hearing the title. Les Faux Bourgeois, the false bourgeois. Okay.
Well, tell you what, we can scan this a little bit after as things progress. If there's anything that dire that comes up or any big questions that do pop up. Till then, let's go ahead and move forward a little bit and do some email. You can always email across to us at bronyville@gmail.com. We will read them on the show. Send us your Brony-related questions or, whatever love you would like to bring upon. I will start first, Sandy second. Peter, would you like to have thirds? We will go through these emails.
Sure. Okay.
Yep. We can depending on how you like on it. All it is just
what that means. But so thirds works for me because then I'll get the sense of it by the time you guys have done it.
Yeah, just reading through these emails. Let's see.
Sure, right.
I'll highlight yours to make it a little easier. This is in real time. There we go. Oh, you know what? I actually know that you don't have access to the doc, so we'll just trade back and forth.
Okay.
That answers. I'm like, wait a second. Oh, yeah, that would be it. Okay, cool. All right, I'll start first and Sandy second.
Just link him the doc.
We could. Let me see. Do that. Tell you what, Sandy, you link him the doc. I'll start with the first email.
Okay.
All right. Dear Apple Cider, Chef Sandy, Starry, and hopefully the special guest. I have 2 things to say. Many bronies have said that the show has really helped them through difficult times. I myself have had such experiences recently. The Friday before Canterlot Gardens, my big sister came really close to having a breakdown and ended up in a hospital. She's doing better now, but as always, hard for the first few days to know how things would go. For those days, the Brony and the communities helped me through keeping my thoughts happier. On to the question, or maybe a point or comment. You talked about closet bronies and similar things, but now I'm open about being a brony and have Fluttershy sitting to look over the corner of my laptop, reminding me to be more assertive. Now, when that is said, I would like to have a more discreet way to say I'm a brony and I love the show. Something like a glider some hackers use, which is just 5 dots to anyone who don't know it. Thing one can hide on and on, hide in and on. I think there is a difference between just wanting to signal that you are a brony to other bronies and thinking that is some deep dark secret that no one must know about, else it ruin your life forever. What do you think? Your faithful longtime listener and fellow Earth Pony, Twisted Haywire. P.S. AJ is best PCB pony as the included pick shows. Starry Night is the best AC Wrangler. BPS, my best brony friend can't decide between best pony being Rainbow Dash or Twilight Sparkle, so I gave him the Twilight Sparkle and Rainbow Dash blind bag ponies I had. Glad the community was able to help you out during a little bit of rough patch there, man. As for ways to be discreet, We Love Fine has some good discreet shirts. That's a good way to go about it. There's a bunch of other ways. Marks and logos and things like that usually work out okay. I even think having a little, depending on how, is it actually an actual Fluttershy on the laptop? Which is pretty overt. If it's something a little bit more along the lines of just a mark, I think that should be fine. Rainbow Dash's mark just looks like a cool design. So, your idea?
She's a cool pony, AC.
I guess. What do you think, Sandy?
It's one of those things that, you don't worry so much about what other people think. Own what you got. And if what you got is including ponies and wearing shirts, well, that's the kind of person you are. Keep it discreet if you want to. Like AC said, there's plenty of discreet, in your face designs out there. And then of course you could always get the Big Mac shirt that's the Brony logo that says Brony instead. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm. The number of times I have had, positive experiences like out in the general public wearing any of my t-shirts and stuff like that versus the times I've had negative experiences. I've never had a negative. I've only had I actually had a little boy at a PetSmart just completely go, hey, that guy's wearing we're talking 8-9-year-old go, hey, he's wearing a pony shirt, and his mom going, oh, that's so neat. There's cool stuff that happens from that. It's your own personal comfort zone, I guess.
I've had similar things happen, AC. I've got my Doctor Who shirt that I picked up all out of Free Northwest, and I wear it out on occasion, and I've gotten I really like your shirt. Stuff like that. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I think, look, a lot of what it strikes me that it is to be a brony is something to be really proud of. I think that I understand why you might be tempted to be discreet about it, but to me, being a brony is about spreading a larger idea of tolerance and acceptance, and it's something to be extremely proud of. So, the idea of being discreet with it, ultimately, I feel like, if you need to do that, and you feel like you really need to do that, then okay, that's great. But I would also urge you to consider being more overt and having the courage to be proud of it, because you know what? The more I talk about it to people, the more people understand. And someone is asking if I'm going to comment here in the chat. Well, I'm talking right now. Oh, not in the chat, but I'm talking. There you go. I get it.
He sees the chat. He replies.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of the things. If you, it's all about the way that you kind of want to present yourself. You could totally. You can be like, hey, I'm part of this. I enjoy it. But, there's the difference between, if you try and be super secretive about something, it makes people think that
People think there's something to be secret about. And
yeah.
I feel like there is.
And then on the complete polar opposite side, the evangelist kind of can drive people nuts. So just enjoy what you like. If you want to bring other people into it and they seem receptive, do it. If they don't, however, people like different things. That is how people are. All right. Oh, okay. I see. There's the picture that got included with the crazy circuits,
which made it jump for some reason. But yes, he has inscribed Applejack onto a PCB.
I just need to give a shout out to Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
All right, Sandy, your turn. You got a tiny little bite-sized one, and I I have a file for this. Hold on, let me pull that up.
All right. Well, we'll stick that in post.
I might have something that will allow me to play it. So go ahead.
All right. Well, let me read the email at least. Hey, Apple Cider, Chef Sandy, Starry, and so forth. This is Alpha Brony with 5 Iron Brony sending you a congratulatory email on your 75th episode. We recorded a small bit. Thank you for all you've done for the community. Enjoy our clip and keep on doing what you're doing. Your faithful listeners, Alpha and 5 Iron Brony, no relation, audio file.
I'm going to attempt to see this. Supposedly this brand new program that I have not tested before should actually start playing audio into the stream, and you should hear it, so I'm going to give this a shot.
Hey, Alpha, what time is it? It's Brony time. No, wait, it's Bronyville time. That's right, we wanted to take a moment and recognize this noteworthy accomplishment and offer our congratulations to Apple Cider and Chef Sandy. 75 podcasts. It's your platinum anniversary. Huzzah! What a pair. But what about Starry? Hey, what a trio. Seriously, this is no small feat. Always loaded with great guests, terrific content. This doesn't sound like pandering, does it? Not yet. Cool. Bronyville will one day take down their nemesis, that tyrannical overlord Kevin Smith. You can't see it right now, but I'm shaking my hoof as I say that. And now it's pandering. Oh. Thanks for making Wednesdays so much more bearable. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. And pony on, Bronyville.
Hooray. Did you guys hear
Alpha.
that?
Pony on, Bronyville.
Yay. Hey, it actually played to you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, it worked.
Woohoo. That's
First
awesome.
try.
Really, not even tested. That's a really good player. Okay. Now we can actually play audio during the show. That rocks. All right, let me kill that program. So yes, thank you very, very much to Alpha and 5 Iron Brony for that. We can now play audio, and cool to get a congratulations for 75 crazy episodes. So, yay. I haven't broken it yet. That's true. All right. If you so wish, so Peter, I believe you've got access to the doc now.
I took a scan of it, but you know what? I'm happy to let you guys choose what you're wanting to read out.
Okay. Tell you what, I'll move next on this. If we find one that, if Sandy sees a good one, we may be able to toss it your way. But I'll do the next one. Salutations, Chef Sandy and Apple Cider. Just thought I'd send this in because you've had a couple of people recently emailing you guys about getting into creating music for the fandom, and I thought I'd just tell you a story. To begin, I tried out a couple different DAWs, including FL Studio and Ableton. Eventually settled on the latter. However, I didn't immediately start to create music and upload it. I spent a few months just working with the program and various VSTs, learning about the effects of things. It wasn't until about 5 months later that I really started to create songs. There's many places a struggling artist can do. The resources are my little remix and the Brony music channel on PonyChat IRC. Let's see. Let me scan through here. As for a question, I was thinking about the different phases of Bronydom recently and had a thought. What are you two guys' opinions is the best phase of Bronydom and reminds you of it? Personally, I think the first month or so is the most amazing because it's the time when everything is the most innocent, discovering the amazing things in this fandom. One thing that always makes me have great feelings of nostalgia is a time when I listened to Voodoo Ponies' Derpin' in Ponyville, which is a great song. Well, this email is plenty long enough. Keep up the great work. Sincerely, A Classy Pony. P.S. I remember an episode or two where he mentioned Cards Against Humanity, and yay, yes, that game. Oh boy. And if any of your listeners want some help, you feel free to contact him. And he left some YouTube links of his songs in the email, so you can check that on the site. So phases of Bronydom. I do recall, the early days definitely were something, Sandy.
Yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
it was fresh and new and underground. So it's like an old hipster. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
pretty much.
There's a show called My Little Pony. You've not heard of it.
It's before all the kids showed up. But no, I mean, like, back in the day when I recall, like, I kind of get that nostalgia whenever I hear something like the 100 subscribers, clicked by accident video. That's like one of the perfect ones back when the music was just starting to pick up, and it's just like, oh yeah, that was perfect. I think I do enjoy part of the fandom now because I have so many like friends that I've made out of this that I didn't have, at the very beginning. Getting to know the guys over at, Derpy Hooves News, Equestria Daily, things like that, and being a lot more connected. We've got Peter on the show. That's pretty cool.
Hi.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah. Hi.
We weren't able to do this in week 1.
Yeah. See, I was going to say, the best part, in my opinion, for anyone in the fandom is the part where you finally get to the point where it's like, I want to give back to the community. I want to create. I want to do something. When you're finally becoming when people become an active member of the community, if it's, role playing with friends or doing music or writing stories or drawing art, that is the phase when you're really getting into the core of the community. And so that's my 2 cents, 2 bits.
Yep. I think that's you can, I mean, the beginning is always nice because it's before any like drama or anything is actually posted in. Everything was, happy, splashy, new, had a nice coat of paint, but now it's something that we've really kind of, I wouldn't want to say worn in, but we've really stamped and made the community our own at this point. The entire at the very beginning it was like, yay, we enjoy this, and the production team sounds like they enjoy us, but it wasn't until we actually started to progress on and make a lot of contacts and have and meet awesome people like Peter, pandering, that we were able to actually have this kind of connection. So it's, for us, it's always moving, and we're always trying to do better, I suppose. That's a weird answer. All right, Sandy, you want to get the next one? It's, you know what? I'll get this one since it's bite size. It seems like I'm trying to keep you away from the bigger emails this week.
It's like you don't want me to talk.
I want you to talk, Sandy. Let me do this one. Dear Apple Cider and Chef Sandy, have you ever been to any Brony meetups? What I'm talking about, of course, you have. No, what am I talking about? Of course you have. Just wondering, was the youngest age of a Brony you've met? Older. P.S. Archer is best pony. Also best TV, one of the best TV shows. 12? 12 was the youngest, I think. Oldest, what would you say? Probably about 40?
Probably.
I met a 6-year-old named Prudence.
Nice.
At Canterlot this past weekend. And and she was awesome. She even sat up. If you want to see her, you'll have to find a video of the voice actor panel, because she came up and sat with us for a bunch of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say the youngest is pretty young, because at Enfield Northwest there was lots of little kids running around, boys and girls with their shirts.
There was more at Canterlot, you said?
That was my impression of it. Yeah, I felt like there were more kids at Canterlot than it ever. I could be wrong, of course, but that was just my experience of it.
Yeah. It's definitely a day pass sort of thing. Families can drag all their kids, have some fun, and go home at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Brony Fanfare had tons and tons of kids.
Yeah, man, that's partially because, well, the show is,
the cons are all ages, and the show's for kids.
Yep.
And I think it's great. Actually, I think it's awesome that kids are welcome and comfortable at the conventions. I think that is that's what being in this fandom is all about for me.
And
community, and that involves children. So
Yep. Reason we keep this show PG and make it so that, we've got a few listeners that listen to the show actually with their kids in the car, and just that's super awesome. So
And
Very.
it's also super important for us. So.
Yeah, if it would be very odd for me to do a show. It's just like crazy Bronyville dark time. Like no.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that'd be odd.
Welcome to Bronyville After Dark.
No, Sandy, we said we weren't going to talk about this.
This is a terrible idea.
Yeah, let's move on. You've got an email to read.
All right. Hello there, Apple Cider, Chef Sandy, Starry Night, and guests. I'm emailing you because a few days ago I had a very positive experience involving ponies and my mother. For more than a year, she's been aware of my interest in ponies and my following of Friendship is Magic, which became more than obvious when paper crafts and pony toys started to pop up everywhere in my room. Needless to say, she wasn't too thrilled with this. To be honest, she hated it. Many times she's frowned at me, and even though she tolerated it, she didn't particularly love it. So I could only do one thing. I suggested her to watch an episode and see if she liked it. Since she's a fan of Indiana Jones, I decided to show her Read It and Weep, knowing she'd appreciate the references to her favorite movie. And I was 100% right. When the episode started, she was grumbling and groaning, and by the end of the episode, she was laughing and enjoying it. And she concluded that, while she won't become a fan of the show, she does see why I love it so much. I bet she'll be checking episodes in secret, especially after I told her there were some references to James Bond and Julia Child. My point is, if you have someone who doesn't understand why you like the show so much, you have to know the person very well before showing it to them. You have to know their interests so you can pick an episode that appeals to them, since that's one of the reasons why the show hits so many different demographics. I just felt like sharing this, and maybe you can talk about it, keep giving newcomers ideas and advice when it comes to shows and or talk about their favorite show with their friends. Thank you guys for being so awesome. Greetings from cloudy, rainy Scotland, James Cork.
Yay. Yeah,
That's cool that your mom softened up on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Awesome. I showed my mom an episode. It might have been Sonic Rainboom. I can't recall. Have you?
It's the other way around. My mom has been desperately trying to watch every single episode just to hear my voice, which is.
Aww. That's so cute.
She's not watching them in order though, so she keeps missing my episodes.
Do I have to somebody give a list of all the ones that include Peter? That way,
I keep telling her that those lists are available online, and they go to my IMDb page, and it will tell you what episodes I've been in, and then you just Google those ones. But
it just goes like you should have voiced the purple one. She's in every episode then.
Yeah, that would be yeah, right. You could have done that Twilight Sparkle character. Why didn't they have you do that?
You would have been perfect for the part. I just don't know. What are they thinking?
My mother is lovely, but she has said that kind of thing to me before.
Oh my god.
Twilight Sparkle, now done by Peter New. Oh, that would be so interesting. Complete recast, shuffle all the voice actors, go. Oh, that'd be amazing. As for let's see, point.
I have a question I'd like to answer on the live stream.
Go for it.
I've lost where it is, but someone has asked the question if I ate any of the $100 bag of Cheetos from the charity auction at Canterlot Gardens. For an answer to that, follow me on Twitter at actor Peter New, and look for recent videos or links or something, because I just linked a video that may answer your question on Twitter.
That seems like a very good possibility with that answer, but we'll leave them to actually go join you on that.
Yeah,
that is pretty good. The references are all really good. I had just to hit that last point. I have a friend that's a major Star Wars fan. I think I need to make sure I send him the clip of the very end of the Return of Harmony. The entire award scene is pretty amazing. Okay. Let's see. One last email. This was sent from a user, Ramlin. And mainly was just them wanting to show across. They left a link of their character. Her name is Ramlin, has no cutie mark. Woke up in a post-apocalyptic world, brought to Ponyville by Try and Rainbow. Brony status started when a friend referred me to the show. Googled it and was glad they did. thought they were curious, thought it was odd, and then now they have, I guess, images of ponies on their computer now at work. And I left a list there for Ramelin at deviantart.com, where they suggested that we could check out their art. So cool. Listed that, and that is the emails for the week. Thank you very much for everyone that emailed across to us. That is bronyville@gmail.com. You can always send us, and we will bring up your notes on the show. To take care of this, iTunes Bronies time. Awesome Bronies that have left us ratings for the show. I'd like to thank, we are at 728 ratings. At this time on iTunes, which keeps us up there, keeps us going towards that tyrannical Kevin Smith and his bajillion podcasts. Thank you very much to Miguel Meadows, 5 Iron Brony again, Mystic Nova, Jake Huvett, Brandon Hinton, and Diamond Charmer for your written reviews on the U.S. store. Donations, I want to thank over to R. Shruver and S. Houghton for leaving us donations this week. I had a nickel somewhere. I forget where'd the nickel go? Oh, that's weird. I need to make a coin flip.
Oh.
It's under the... did I put it under the computer?
No.
Do you put it under the computer?
Is it behind your ear?
Oh, all right. So we got a copy of Torchlight 2 going to one of these two. Hoff will be second. Shooter will be first. So flipped on the back of the hands. It's going to our Shooter. We're sending a copy of Torchlight 2. So Shooter, please send us a message to me at bronyville@gmail.com, and I'll send that game out to you via Steam. And Sandy, we got we have another contest coming up for this week and maybe next 2 weeks.
Yep, I've got a whole nest of stripy zebra ponies that are just needing good homes. So it's going to be this $5 donation gets you in a drawing for a glow-in-the-dark Zakora with Kung Fu Grip, glow-in-the-dark, and eye lasers. Only one of them actually true.
Kung Fu Grip eye lasers, yes. Awesome. So there you go. If you do a $5 donation over at bronyvillepodcast.com, over there on the side, it gives us money to keep the show going, pay our bandwidth, get any equipment that we need so that we can do awesome things at conventions. It helps us produce this awesome 2-hour-ish show every single week. So, just do what you can and, give us as much love as you are willing. And we'll give you a Zakora if you happen to win for this week. So super, super cool. All right. We are closing in close to the very end of this show. And there is now time for us to talk about our one cool thing. My one cool thing this week is actually, recall last week that we got the official cease and desist for the My Little Pony Magic the Gathering cards. And so I went and I actually pulled all the information for you for the MLP CCG fan-made collectible card game. You can find this in the 3 links. I have both their official site, the DeviantArt, and the Reddit, so you can see all of those pieces. But the main site is a forum that you can go talk about the cards, how you can actually play it. The DeviantArt shows some of the card stock and actually the image of them so that you can know how everything looks, and it's a real professional, and the Reddit being a Reddit community that everybody talks about it. So that is super cool. You should go check that out. All those are listed as my one cool thing on the show notes. Sheffers, what is this?
All right, so this is a video of the Ghostbusters voice actor blind reading from Candlelight Gardens that somebody has synced to the actual episode. With notations when they swap scenes, when they swap voices. Wesker's voice coming out of Snips is terrifying. Bender is best Trixie, I would say.
That does seem awesome.
Commander Shepard is really far away from the Citadel. So it is really, the guy that did a good job. The blind reading was really funny. And I thought it was really cool.
I want to watch this right after the show. That sounds amazing.
Yep. So yeah, that's my one cool thing this week.
Okay, super cool. Peter, to put you a little bit on the spot, less of a one cool thing, but what would you like to, where's the best places to reach you or to get in contact with you? Do you have a website, obviously a Twitter address?
I do have a website, although it's in the long process of getting a 100% overhaul, so we'll skip on that, and eventually I'll announce through Twitter or Facebook that it is open for business again. But if you would like to follow me on Twister, Twister?
We're going to play Twister after the show. All right, let's do this.
Do it. I'll have a whole bunch of new schmoopy doos after that. So if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Actor Peter New. And if you'd like to find me on Facebook, I have a page called Peter New. And there's a picture of me in a blue shirt as the profile. And again, I would love to have you join me on either of those. I try to keep them different so that they're not the same.
Excellent.
That is important.
Yep. All right. So we got that down. I'll make sure that we make those actual links so everybody can make sure that they link across to you and they can reach you, Peter.
And somebody has been asking a couple of times, and I hope you're still out there, if I've ever done female voices or auditioned for female voices. And I'd like to answer the question briefly. Normally, I'm not given the opportunity, but I did get cast as all 3 female voices one time in a thing. So I will wait. I will wait until this has been over for a good 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll post a link to that.
In a thing. That's
on Twitter. I will post it on Twitter.
Oh, look at that. That's feeding onward.
At Actor Peter New on the Twitter.
I do have a final thing. Black Griffin has been asking over and over. He's the guy that's done the Twilighticious. He's been trying to get your attention. If you would consider it, you should probably email him, Black Griffin.
Yes,
as opposed to yelling in the chat room.
I think he probably wants you to do to help out with a Macalicious. If I have to take a random guess,
I have written one that I don't think is quite right, and I would like to finish writing it. But then nobody ever asks me to do it at a con or anything, so it just
Well, he's asking.
I'm sort of waiting for the right moment to drop it.
Well, I believe that Black Griffin just wet himself and is probably the guy to talk to.
Yeah. please don't do that, Black Griffin.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Well, all I can say about it is, I guess, just keep your ear to the ground. I think I will probably release an official version of it at some point, but I don't know when.
And it will be animated the moment you put it out there. I have a good feeling.
Oh, I know it. I know.
It's this crazy creative group of people.
I can't wait for that.
All right, super cool. So let's see. Let's go ahead and wrap this up a little bit. First off, I want to super thank Peter for coming on to the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure having you. Love the work that you do on the show. And love the way that you are so open and willing to spend an hour and a half of your time to talk Silly Pony. And your career and everything to us over on the show. It means a ton. You are a stellar guy, and you have an awesome hat.
Well, thank you, and thank you again. It was a delight to be here, so I'm very pleased.
Very, very good. Thank you again, sir. I want to always thank Chef Sandy coming in, bringing the thunder.
As always.
And I always want to thank our very gracious fans. Thank you all that have come in and jumped in on the Justin TV today to talk to ourselves, to talk to Peter. Thank you all. We love doing the show. We love bringing this material to you every single week. So you can follow us. Here's what you can do. We have our website over at BronyShow.com or BronyvillePodcast.com, where you can go check out the site. Every Wednesday we update with the new show. Podcast gets released. You can send an email across to us at Bronyville@gmail.com. Join us roughly every Saturday, noon Pacific Daylight Time at Justin.tv/BronyvillePodcast. If you like the show, please give us an iTunes review. If you leave a written review, we'll talk about you on the show, and it keeps us up there and keeps us combating the shows from that dreaded Kevin Smith. Listen to the show live on Celestia Radio every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 11 p.m. UTC. My Twitter address is at Bronyville. Chef?
Oh, mine's at Chef Sandy.
Distracted much? Meetup groups, I have the Bronies of Northern California.
And I'm North Texas Brony.
And that takes care of us for this week. Thank you.
One more thing I'd like to say.
Oh, go for it, sir.
I got the E to the E to the YUP and an NOPE when I disagree. Ain't no other pony with the poise like me. I got wisdom. I'm a lesson in subtlety. I'm Macalicious. E. Nope.
And there you go. I'm sure we can get a cleaned up sound file of that guy, and it will definitely be animated within a very short period of time.
Look forward to it.
Excellent. All right, thank you
God,
all.
that's going crazy.
Oh, the chat is losing its mind. Look at them. It's like an hour and a half wait for everything they ever wanted. Excellent. All right, guys, that's going to conclude for episode number 75 of Bronyville Podcast. We'll jump with you next week. Next week, we're going to be doing double duty. We have the Equestria Daily staff on again to talk about, well, just general stuff that's been happening with the site doing the show. And afterwards, we're going to be tabletopping. So you can look for a double feature. It's going to be myself, Sandy, and Pixel Kitties. All I can say is that my rivals will be showing up for the first time. And it involves Germans, Zeppelins, and the Flim Flam Brothers. So that is all we will say for this week. We will go ahead and leave you for next week. Till then, sleep well, every pony.
Adios.
And goodbye, Schmoopy Doos!
I looked all over the world to find a friend just like you. I walked from sea to sea, and no one did what you did for me. My shadow shrank in the sun as I rode all alone. There was nothing left for me as I crossed the gate in the mild home. Then she took everything, burned my pictures of that evening, turned to ash what little remained. In the end, who was to be blamed? She found you in the end. All my life spent searching. The journey ends where it began. All the years spent yearning. All I needed was you. All I needed was you. All I needed was you. And she found you. Until that day I never knew what it was friendship could mean. Now I know what to do when I meet someone I've never seen.